Hello! Welcome back to another live video with me, Taryn Bashford, author of teen fiction Payback and the Sassy series, and also Game Face. You'll have to excuse me a bit today. I have a rather nasty head cold that I woke up with, but hopefully I'll get through this live video alive. Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about Project Awesomeness again. It aims to help teens go from feeling pretty awful to feeling pretty damn awesome about themselves. So self-esteem is a subject that's pretty close to my heart. Obviously, because a lot of characters within teen novels do suffer from self-esteem issues and do feel they're not good enough. And this is something that I think an issue that most teens do have, and even adults. So last week we discussed how negative beliefs in yourself become so deep-seated that you actually believe in them, even if they're not true. So the trick is to change those deep-seated beliefs into positive ones, and pretending that you're fine when you're not really just isn't okay. It's not the solution. So many people who suffer from self-esteem have a tendency only to pay attention to the negative things about themselves rather than the positive. So anything good gets dismissed as if it's not important. So positive comments, positive actions, positive qualities are just seen as, well, not important, and you tend to focus on the bad stuff about yourself and the bad things that happen. So if you're asked to list some positive qualities about yourself, how would you respond? A lot of people who suffer from low self-esteem might actually struggle to come up with anything at all. So this is something for you to try, and I hope it helps. What do you do when you need to remember stuff? You write them down, of course. So we're going to start an awesomeness journal. This is going to be a record of all your positive qualities, no matter how small or modest or insignificant you think your positive qualities are. You must write them down. So a couple of questions to ask yourself in case you need some help. What are some of your achievements? How did you achieve them? What skills did they show? What are some challenges you faced? And what are some of the great talents that you have? It's just skills and talents. And perhaps even what do other people say about you? How would they describe you? So when you're doing this exercise, you probably or might find yourself in a situation where you say something along the lines of, okay, I'm a really conscientious person. That's a good quality. And you go to write it down. But just as you're about to write it down, you think, except for last week, I was a bit late for my maths assignment. Nah, scrap that. I'm not very conscientious. Now, this is fairly typical. It's very easy to dismiss good qualities about yourself and dwell on the bad. But if you are generally a conscientious person, then yes, write this down. We all mess up sometimes. You can't be perfect all the time. And if you're generally conscientious, you can just discard that one or two times when you weren't. It's cool. Be kind to yourself. Okay. So the important part now is to actually give examples of where you showed the qualities you've written down. The reason, I know it's going to take a little while, but the reason you do this is you need to own that quality. You need to actually be proving to yourself, convincing yourself that you do own that quality. You're not just writing down a list of qualities. It's almost like having a conversation with yourself, because you're actually telling yourself and proving to yourself that you have this quality. So if, for instance, you've written down that you're a caring person, well, own that quality by showing and writing down an example of when you were caring. Perhaps your friend needed a ear, a shoulder to cry on, and you sat up until 2 a.m. chatting to her until she felt better, or she missed school and there was a test the next day and you took over the information she needed for that test. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be long and laborious. So going back to Shay, a character in my novel, Sassy Jam, she really didn't have a lot of belief in herself and her abilities as a sailor. She didn't believe that she was as good as her brother, or in fact boys, at sailing, because her dad kept telling her so. He kept saying that girls just aren't as good at sailing as boys. And she concentrated and focused on that and believed that because it was told to her so many times. But really, it was an opinion, not a fact. She never concentrated on the times when she did do well, when she did navigate, when she did, rock sailing, and only focused on those negative times. So it's only really when she was forced to sail and navigate and get herself out of a life-threatening situation that she started to change her opinion about herself. But you don't need to go through anything quite so life-threatening, because the awesomeness journal will work just as well. But just remember, you need to give examples so that you own that quality. So this is just one step towards going from feeling awful to feeling pretty awesome about yourself. And next week, in step 2, we'll talk about how to stop negatively evaluating yourself. But you'll need to subscribe to get live notifications so you don't miss. And yeah, I got through alive. I'll see you next week. Bye.